Hey everybody, Johnny Disc Golf back with another interview. This time I am joined by the godfather maybe of Go Throw Tour himself, Mr. Luke Humphries. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. A little low on sleep, a little low on energy, but we're here in Waco. We're excited about this tournament again and excited about what happened last weekend.
Yeah, like my first question was just going to talk about how busy you are, but you said it. I'm sure you're exhausted. You're a professional player. You're now like part of running a tour. How are the energy levels? How you feeling? How's road life?
Yeah, I think having cold, wet conditions is always tricky for people shivering for hours a day. It takes more energy than you even know that you're expending. So it was a long weekend. We put out enough fires for a whole week. It felt like in 2 days. But it was amazing to see the support, see the fans out. The coverage seems to be doing well, and we had the best player in the world out there taking it down. So pretty cool.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say it feels like pro disc golf because you have Gannon and some of the best players in the world playing. But to me, it feels like pro disc golf because there was like weather delay and mud everywhere. That like the theme of pro disc golf now? It seems.
It's the theme of Texas in
Okay.
March, I think. The last time I saw mud that bad was the 2019 Nick Hyde, and that course is literally 25 minutes away from the Hideaway. So it's
All right, makes
that
sense.
time of year in Texas, unfortunately. But it's not always that time of year because it was beautiful Friday, and the second they topped out, the clouds looked like they were ran for cover. I mean, it became a
Ugh.
beautiful day again. So we got a bit unlucky. That's just how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it is how it goes. That's them's the pains of running live events. It just you're kind of at the will with it. But overall, obviously weather was tough. We saw the coverage; it was muddy. But how did the event go? Cancer Playbook Open, the inaugural event of the Go Throw Tour, 30,000 foot view. How'd it go?
As good as it could have gone for the conditions. We had spectators showing up. I got Hoagie over here drinking right now. Sorry, the big
Hey,
guy
any
needs.
break is okay if it's Hogan based.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he seems to be done too. Good, for what we could control. I think it went really well. The coverage came out nice. I think
Hmm.
the players. It was almost like so bad that you had to smile. Like if it was a
Yeah,
little less bad, it would have been demoralizing. But because it was like that crazy, you just
yeah.
had to like laugh about it a little bit, and I think that gave a little lightheartedness to it. And then Kat Merch took down the FPO side, and
Hmm.
her attitude is amazing. And she got done with her rounds and went out and spectated in the rain and the mud every single day. Helped spot on some of those holes too. She was
She's a
she was doing
beast.
double duties for sure. She is a beast. So it went really well. We had a bunch of vendors out, and it would have been cool for us to have that Saturday night party that we were really planning, which
Uh,
we want to really focus on the fan experience, and we had
okay.
a really good we had a DJ. We were gonna have live music, and we had free beer. We had vendors.
Free beer. Oh man.
Yeah, Oak Island Brewing. They came in clutch, and it would have been amazing to see all those people come out. If the fans came out that day, they were cold, they were wet. Same with the
Yeah.
players. So it didn't really turn into what we would have liked to, but we have a bunch more opportunities, and we're really excited about the future.
Absolutely. There's a natural crossover between disc golf tournament and kind of that festival element atmosphere. The Pro Tour obviously has its own version in 2022. They tried to do, bigger shows, Corey Wong, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Excited to see what you guys can put together, at some of these events that, and this is my next thing, like these are not sanctioned events, right? They're,
Right.
at least as it seems to me, they're designed to be slightly not more casual, but lighter maybe, and not so life or death focus.
Right. Right.
It was that intentional, or did it just work that way because you couldn't get sanctioning?
It was a little bit of both. We knew we wanted to have that casual feel with
Hmm.
still having like a competition with good cash added to it, obviously. But the I originally was trying to get these all A tier sanctioned and had a little bit of
Oh,
trouble dealing with the PDGA and
sure.
talking with Big Dog, and we went back and forth a few different times, and it didn't seem like it was going to work out to have them be sanctioned. And we didn't want to run glorified B tiers again. We felt like we were going to be too far down that list of players, and really the marketing the PDGA would have been able to offer would have been minimal with a B tier. So we
Hmm.
decided to go unsanctioned, and credit to Doug Bjerkes. He gave me a call about a month ago and told me that they'd be willing to sanction these things as A tiers, which
Really?
was super cool. I hadn't spoken to him during the process of trying to get them sanctioned. Maybe I
Hmm.
should have. But he came back to me and said that the PDGA wanted to be a part of this and wanted to know what they could do to get it sanctioned, which was awesome. I really respect Doug. I think him being the president of the PDGA is going to lead to great things. And from there, I went to the players directly. I talked to Gannon, I talked to Isaac, I talked to a couple other players that really had gone out on a limb a bit to support us. This is not a tour event, it's not even a sanctioned event. So for them to come and be a part of it was huge. And I wanted to make sure I was doing right by them. So after talking to them, they really preferred it to be a non-sanctioned event. Being
Mm.
that it's only 2 day, it allows them to try a few different things, to have some fun in front of the fans, throw some lines they wouldn't otherwise throw. So it was a player supported decision there, and eventually, because of the players, that we kept it unsanctioned.
I mean, just for me personally, obviously, I'm not the best in the world. I'm not competing for a living, but I prefer to play unsanctioned events. Like just it's a little more casual. It's a little more like for me, like local infused, right? It's like me and the boys just out there playing. So I
Yeah.
totally appreciate it. So you're a high level golfer. You've been on tour for years and years. I mean, essentially, as long as I've been on tour in pro disc golf, you've been right there. You're a media personality. You host YouTube, the OTB Skins. You're on podcasts. You're doing this. Um, what is your exact role with Go Throw? Are you like a consigliere? Are you where? How are you the owner, CEO? Like, what is your role with Go Throw itself?
I'd say it's a marketing role and like a visual leadership role. Somebody's got to
Okay.
be the one that imparts some of that information. But I don't think of myself as the leader of Go Throw. We got an awesome team. Chris Van Biesler, Gabriel Dow, Bobby Cox are all working tirelessly day and night to make this thing work. And I, I don't think that there is necessarily a leader. We each have uh, parts of the business that we assist in and focus in, and just like a body, you got to have the hand, you got to have the foot, you got to have the mouth. And it's been just a really good team effort. And I got to shout out the Hideaway crew too. We can't do any of this properly without good boots on the ground, which is something that almost all of these private courses that we're working with have access to via volunteers and just like hardworking employees. So it's I'm the one in front of the camera, so maybe it seems
Sure.
like I'm the guy that's running it all, but it's a team effort for sure, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Well, I gotta say, it's usually a good position to be the mouth of things. That is what gets fed, after all. So the boots maybe get a less glorified position on the whole thing, but it's all necessary, right? You need all parts.
Yeah.
Um, okay, the last 3, 4 years. I mean, specifically, I would say the last 3 years. We've been on tour. We've been at many events. The people who are like the most broken, upset, and bitter tend to be all of the people working for the tour themselves. So, like, what are we doing here? Like, is that you want to join those ranks, the people who all have like sciatic back problems and are regretting it by October? Like, why are we doing this?
That's a good question. Um, I think the number one answer is just to keep things fresh. If you've been in the disc golf space, you know that we had a great bump in 2020 via COVID, but things have slowed down a little bit, and it feels like we've almost gotten ourselves into a rut, going to the same places, trying to do the exact same things. And so, if anything, just a fresh look, just
Mm.
showing people that we can continue having fun. That this is a complimentary tour to the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We're not trying to do anything that they're doing. They're obviously live coverage, and if anything, through this experience, it's given me an even greater respect for what
Yeah.
they are doing, and how hard it is to get all these moving parts together all across the country, a different week, a different city every week, and so I think we're trying to keep it fresh. Um,
Hmm.
we're trying to allow the fans and spectators to have up close experiences with these pros in a more relaxed environment. and just have fun and disc golf again.
I hear you. It just with the pricing schema that the Pro Tour has, there's several things that I don't necessarily vibe with. I know just growing up, I came from low income. My family would likely not be able to afford to come to a disc golf pro tour event if it came through my town. So I do appreciate the effort to like build a fan experience and like just. I mean, more places for people to engage with it at a low impact way is good for the sport, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
So I appreciate you there. Speaking about the fan experience, though, I'm did spend some time tooling around the website, and I'm hoping this comes as no surprise, but like I would describe it as technically functional.
hmm.
Um, the tour leaderboard obviously doesn't function or it isn't updated. On Monday there wasn't any scores. I was honestly having a hard time finding out who won the event. I had to go
Yeah,
to the YouTube. I had watched but is there there's portions of the website that are straight up stock images clearly from when the person started the website.
yeah,
um you know all these people working tirelessly off this, like, for me the website is point number one that you engage your fans with.
yeah,
um when it looks like it hasn't had a ton of effort put in, regardless of if there may or may not have been, it's not necessarily a great indicator of the effort getting put into like the stuff that the people don't see per se.
yeah.
So, I guess just do you have any thoughts on that? Is there any like going to be a concerted effort to like dial in the web presence and the marketing and messaging to the whole thing? Or I also know disc golfers, and I know how like a tour ran and produced by disc golfers is going to be what it is. But
Yeah.
like are we going to elevate out of this? Is this just V1 and we're going to be building towards something? Like, where are you at with those sort of things?
Yeah, it's definitely V1. It's evolving and adapting on a weekly basis. It is kind of, it's ground roots at this point.
Mm-hmm.
What's happening is via disc golfers. I think that we're figuring out a bunch of this stuff. We're not sure that we want to have tickets be sold. We
Mm.
kind of did that at a cheaper price point than the Pro Tour is doing.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we're trying to be inclusive, and so we're going to continue to try things out. Some of it may not work, and we're going to adjust quickly and head in another direction. But we do want to try some different things, and that was one of the things we did here at the Hideaway. And moving forward, there will be evolving. I think Chris is working on that website as we speak right now. We've got a points
Perfect.
race that's going down throughout the year, and we've
Uh-huh.
got to figure out exactly how to get all that so that the people at home can follow along properly. And we're using UDisc as our live scoring at the moment, and they haven't been in the game for a little while, haven't ran professional tournaments in a little while, so we've got a few things that we want to talk to them about, maybe some user functionalities and some ease of following that could change in the future. And
Sure.
like you said, it's not perfect yet. There's work that needs to be put in, but we're a small crew and we're trying to adapt quickly.
No, and I'm actually really glad that you brought up UDisc. That was something I was excited to see here, just being able to follow along with UDisc, traditionally great UI. What was it like talking with them? Were they excited to get back in the like pro tournament kind of score hosting game? What was that process like?
Yeah, they were. We reached out to them a while ago, right as we started to think about this being a points race and a tour, and we needed a partner for the scoring, and they were awesome about accepting that position. And we didn't have expectations super set. We said, we want to use live scoring. They made it clear that they really couldn't do the taking of the money. They didn't want to mess around
Yeah.
with any of that stuff right now. So we had to use Disc Golf Scene for registration and then import all of those names and scores over to UDisc,
Ooh.
which kind of was a headache. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
then
can imagine. I already saw that coming. Yeah.
figuring out the different cards and swapping around some of the tee times and stuff. With all the mud, we had a bunch of drops, and it was kind of hard to
Yeah.
shuffle things around. So We're going to be talking to him this week and next week, as well as we have about 2 weeks off before we go to Persimmon, and hopefully we
Hmm.
can make some adjustments to you know the process and
Yeah,
get
of
it a little
course.
more smoother and user friendly. We also, you weren't the only person that was having trouble keeping up with the score, so we want to make this something that people don't have to work as hard to participate in, and that will evolve as we move forward.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up, Persimmon Ridge next. We've touched on kind of some of the pros, some of the cons, some of the issues that we've had at the last event. Where, you know, you've been a part of the Persimmon Ridge course tournament event. I kind of associated with you, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's fair or not, but like, as far as it's in your area, I associate with the Arkansas type of deal. Like,
Yeah.
is that an easier event to facilitate, or like, you basically popped one up at the Hideaway? I know they'd done the tournament before, but like,
Yeah.
what's going to be different at this tournament? Smoother, maybe. How's Persimmon going to
Yeah.
run?
Yeah, well, they're both owned by amazing people. Nicky Ventura, his family, Joe Whidden, and that crew over at the Hideaway, they're incredible. They had a bunch of
Hmm.
people on the ground, friends, family working. It'll be a similar situation at Persimmon. Kim Jones, Steve Jones, and their team, they're awesome people. We do have a little more history at that course, too. We've got a
Yeah.
couple more tournaments under our belts, so the process is a little easier. And we've done it before. So I expect a little bit of smooth transition there, but we're yeah, I'm not going to say that any of this is going to be super easy right off the bat.
Yeah.
We're going to learn and adapt and evolve and get better. That's what we can promise.
Beautiful. Well, I'm honestly stoked to like check out the tournament. I'm stoked to even just like watch the process grow and evolve. Like, I saw the footage of you freezing your butt off on hole 1 announcing these people, and like, to me that's going to be the image to contrast the end of the year when everything's a little more smooth and beautiful weather. And I'm really excited to see the progress of the whole thing. I know the guys formerly of GK, now of Go Throw, they've been putting in work for years. uh, you know, it'll all get flushed out. But the first one's crazy. Like, there's no matter what, it was going to be crazy.
It was.
Um,
It was. We've got a lot more assets now, be it tents, tables, the map wall, some other things that we didn't even get a chance to put out, honestly. So
yeah.
it's a little more labor intensive, but I think that what we've done is set ourselves up to create an experience that'll be super fun for the people
Well,
once we've dialed it in.
so on that same note, and I'm gonna get to kind of your season here in a sec, but like, who are you said labor intensive? Like, who are? I know who the ops people are for the Pro Tour. Like,
Yeah,
who does all this? Who's transporting all the feather banners, all the easy ups? Who's putting it up at these events?
yeah, we've got a trailer this year. We
Oh
went
wow.
ahead and got one of those, so we're going to be
Hmm.
pulling all that stuff ourselves. But then, the people that are putting it up, we've added a few to our team of filming and editing.
Okay.
Um, and then it'll be boots on the ground doing most of the labor stuff, and I, as well as me. I was
Like
pushing.
LOC, when you say boots on the ground, you mean like the local organizing committee, essentially?
Yeah, yeah, local
Yeah.
organizing committee, and we're going to amazing places. The
Yeah.
the Hideaway has an insane infrastructure. They've got the grill, they got two
Hmm.
courses, a monster parking lot. They've got a lot of things that people want to support, and Persimmon Ridge is very much the same. The team there, and all the community around Little Rock really
Hmm.
is amazing. It's one of my favorite communities. The one that I was with during COVID and learned to
Yep.
love, and Skins came out of that, and Persimmon came out of that, and it's pretty cool that we're going from the number one course in Texas straight to the number one course in Arkansas. We're operating at these private courses that have a great reputation.
Man, I guess I didn't necessarily even think about that. I mean, it's true. It's like, between Eagles Crossing, you're gonna hit Blue Ribbon Pines at some point. I mean, the Go Throw Tour is like heavy hitters as far as like state number ones. Like, all these courses are top 100 courses in the country. It's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, and Kayak Point,
Yeah,
Phaler
thank you.
Lake.
Another one.
Yeah, Have you been to Failure in
I
Pennsylvania?
have not been to Failure. I've seen, you know, Dustin Wolf. Obviously, he's shot a zillion frames of footage. I've seen a lot of footage of it, but I have not made it out there myself.
Yeah.
So one of these things, though, with all these courses, they seem to all be absolutely out of the way for anyone. Like these are not in easy to get to places. Failure Lake, Eagles Crossing, Kayak Point. These are all, from my understanding, pretty far away from like city centers. Um,
Yeah, relatively far away. I mean, it's not like Jonesboro far away. You know,
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I
good.
lived
Well,
in
yeah, good point.
Arkansas for years, and I never went to Jonesboro other than the Jonesboro tournament. So,
There ain't much there. I mean, as somebody who's been there.
no, that's a small town, and there's almost no major roads that go to it. But you're right. We are off the beaten path slightly. You know, we're in the DFW area, which has to be number one of the number
Yeah.
one metros for disc golf in the country. Kayak Point's just north of Seattle. I know a
Okay.
lot of the locals in the Seattle area play that one. And Pennsylvania is a little bit out there, although it does work out if you're driving from, say, Ledgestone to Vermont. You go pretty close to that. And Pennsylvania's never really gotten the proper amount of love it deserves for the community
True.
base that it has. We've
True.
had some of our best events out there at Failure Lake. I think we sold 450 skins tickets last year.
Really? For a
It
one
was
day?
for one day, just a
Wow.
4 hour event, really. And then I think there was 300 the year before. So the Failure Lake event, one of the best events that we run. The community there, Steve Bro, the course designer, you
Exactly.
know, he is Pennsylvania disc golf to a degree, and we love showing love to communities and areas that don't get it as much.
Hmm.
So that's one of the things that we're doing is kind of experimenting in metros and areas where the Pro Tour hasn't serviced that community as well, which it's impossible to service all the communities. So
Yeah,
it's
of
cool that
course.
we
Of course.
complement them in this way and show some different areas some love. And,
Hmm.
you know, we're going to be at Highland Brewing down in North Carolina for our finale. And those people are some of the best people in disc golf. Rock,
Yeah.
the owner, they care so much about their disc golf course, and it's just a side note to the amazing beer that they brew. So can't wait to be there. They've got a venue for music. We're gonna have the glow
Wow.
rounds. It was actually part of the Last of the Mohicans movie was shot on that property. It was just like
Really?
it's a really special property.
Okay. We need photos, scene by scene photos from this thing.
I actually don't know
Um,
which part of that movie it was, but
we'll have to review it. We'll have to review it. It's a great. I mean, it's not Billy Bob Thornton. Like, come on.
it was
Not
Day Lewis, Daniel Day Lewis.
Daniel Day Lewis. Excuse me, my other three named friend.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You're also wearing OTB sweatshirt, Steve Bro, OTB East. Shout out
Yep.
to them as well.
Yeah.
Um, all these beautiful courses aside, You're going to all these great places. This week, you're back at the Beast
Yeah.
for Waco, right?
Yeah.
Switching off the Go Thrower Tour to now the more traditional Disc Golf Pro Tour. What's your thoughts on the Waco shifting back to the? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Beast for 3 rounds. It's not an Elite Series Plus. It's
Right.
classic tournament.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on making the switch back? How's your game feeling? Where are you at?
I loved the golf course last year. Just to start off, played bogey free 11. I think the first
Ooh.
round we played out there, and then
Uh huh.
I think something like a 9 under. So I had great feels out of the golf course, but there's also great feels here at the Beast. It's really a historically relevant course to the Pro Tour, to the growth of disc golf in the professional manner. The 18 under that Paul shot there, the overtime battles between Germ and Conrad, and then Germ and Perkins the next
Perk.
year.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of history that is at this course, and as you walk around it, you really remember all of that stuff. As far as difficulty goes, you know, this is not typically what we're seeing on the Pro Tour these days. This is like this is pretty easy. You know, you got to get birdies. It's a sprint
Yeah.
this week. You're
Yep.
starting off with like back to back to back holes that if you don't birdie, if you don't start 3 for 3, you're losing a stroke to the leaders, almost 100%.
Yep.
So it's a different feel being 3 rounds at the Beast, but I love it. There's just something about it that is nostalgic, I think, in a way.
Well, I mean, outside of nostalgia, you should love it, Luke. You tend to perform very well there. It suits up well for the side, for like especially like the approach style sidearms. Those A series are going to be flying all over the place for you out there. Um,
Yep.
are we going to see our annual Luke Humphries lead card experience here? I feel like we get it. You're like it went from the Big Germ official tournament to the Luke Humphries, I feel like, official tournament.
Yeah.
Are we should we expect to see you up top?
Yeah, I've got good feels. I played the course yesterday with Conrad and Kevin, and those are practice rounds that I've played in years past. Same course,
Yep.
same time, so
Yep.
it does feel a lot like the place that we know and love. I am feeling a little different though. It
Sure.
was a rough
Yeah.
week. I didn't get a ton of practice in. I had the flu in Florida actually, so my first event of the year didn't go the way that I planned. Although I started off hot, I think I kind of had a flu game that first round. Shot a little
Yeah.
5 under, 1050, and then came back to earth for those second two rounds. So I'm still trying to get myself back to feeling great. But being out on the course yesterday and this incredible weather that we're supposed to have this week is really making everything kind of turn up.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be the contrast between last week and this week's going to be beautiful. So stoked to get some sunny skies out there.
Yeah.
Man, side pot too. Like, I'm maybe I took some home from Florida too because my sinuses are going ballistic the last few days. I don't know what's going on.
You did
Um,
stay like 2 or 3 rooms down from me. I
yeah, I
don't know.
know, I know. We were yeah, legitimately 4 rooms down at the Quality Inn.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
Speaking of the Quality Inn, you were touring around with, or you were at least staying with Hebes, Jake Hebenheimer,
yeah,
newly minted Prodigy player. At this point, like I know Manabu's still there. He's been there for a long time, but like at least stateside, are you? It looks like are you the senior member of Prodigy at this point? How did that happen?
yeah. I don't even know how it happened. Actually, it just kind of did, and it's turned out to be that way. I was given the captainship about a month ago, which is awesome. I think that having an influence on these guys' lives positively is something that I want to do as kind of that elder statesman. Even though 2019 Rookie of the Year, it wasn't that
Yeah.
long ago that I got out here, and it wasn't that long ago that I started disc golfing. But I think the impact that I've tried to have and worked to have is paying off in a way, and it's really cool to be able to bring these young guys close and talk through shots and mindsets and what we're going to do this year, both Prodigy and the Pro Tour. And Jake Hebenheimer, man, that's one of the best throwers of the disc on the planet.
Yes.
I firmly
Hundred
believe that.
percent.
I'm
Hundred
super
percent.
stoked that he's on Prodigy, and Gavin Rathbun, another incredible person and disc golfer as well. So, really excited about those two. Obviously, Manabu, and then we've got some other players as well. Harper
Mm-hmm.
Thompson, it's phenomenal talent. We've
Hey,
got some.
Harper's my guy. That was it's not gonna stop you. Harper was my second camera for the 2018 Music City Open. He shot B cam for me when I filmed Central Coast as like a he's probably had to have been 14, maybe 13, 14. You know what I mean? So I go way back with Harper Thompson. I'm always stoked to see him out there playing well.
Yeah, well, he is about to pop off. I mean,
Yep.
if people don't know that name, mark it down right now. Harper's going to be one to beat in the future.
Um, the where does Prodigy sit holistically? And now you don't have to answer to this if you don't want to, but like there was a lot of talks in the offseason about a lot of the players that left were kind of getting that the new crop in. You just talked about a lot of great players that are playing. Like, is this a rebuild? Like, is Prodigy going to be as involved in pro disc golf as they have in the past? Is this a rebuilding year? Are they kind of reshuffling? And maybe this is a Will Schustrick question, so I'm okay with that
Yeah,
being the answer.
yeah, it's probably a better answer from Will
Yeah.
Schustrick. But what Prodigy's doing right now is making some of the best discs on the planet. They had notable names in the past that have left, which is unfortunate. And there has been some bad press about all that stuff, which is it's what it is. Unfortunately for Prodigy, most of that stuff, it wasn't Prodigy's fault. These were contracts that these players signed. They said they were going to do X Y Z, and then didn't do X Y Z. So you know, holding players accountable for things that they said that they would do is how real life works. It's how real business
Yeah.
works, and there's a lot of the disc golf world that doesn't understand that. So the
Yeah, I
bad
was just
press
gonna say, yeah.
Prodigy
Yep.
received was unwarranted in my eye, but I understand where it came from. We're talking about an 18-year-old kid, or We're talking about one of the best finished players ever. We're talking about one of the most liked in Kevin. Unfortunate circumstances that they're not still on the team, but I don't think it's anything that Prodigy did wrong. Uh, if the only thing that they did wrong was put faith in these people, I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, like they really they changed their business around to support these people, and it didn't necessarily work out, and that's unfortunate. But that's how business works sometimes, and
Yep.
they're going to move forward. And we're like so excited about these discs, man. We have so many good molds coming out. We got the best swirls in the game. I know I'm partial, but when every swirl comes out different, it feels like it's a piece of art, a one of one
Yeah.
that these people are getting. So I'm super excited about what we've got cooking. They are supporting the Pro Tour. This is the Prodigy Presents Waco Open this week as well. So
Mm-hmm.
yet to be seen what the entire process is like, but I think we're excited about the future. And having Will Shoestrict at the helm is a great direction to go. That's an OG disc golfer, cares so much about this sport and its growth and its roots as well. So excited about that, and maybe let him do any more of the talking on that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But I want to talk about roots real quick. Couple of quick hitters before I get you out of here. I know that your roots are in ball golf. We'll call it. I'm sure you just say golf. Um, is Scotty Scheffler going to run back like the best? Is he just going to be officially the best again? No chance.
I don't know how it wouldn't happen again, man. That
Yeah,
guy's mindset, his determination, it's incredible. He'll have like a bad day, similar to like a
sitting
Gannon or
in a
something.
jail cell. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, sitting in jail cell. And then he'll just come out and beast it, chip in
Yep.
the next day, hole one, and just move on from there. That's one of the best players ever. It's incredible to see what he's doing. So I definitely think he's up there. I'm a Rory guy myself. I have
Okay.
been for a long time. I know that the further he gets away from those major wins, the harder it's going to be to get
Yep.
another one. But man, would it be really cool to see him succeed?
Back on top.
Yeah, I'm not Rory. Obviously, I'm not even close to Rory. His work is insane, but the things that he does on the Pro Tour, being a part of the leadership and the players committee and all these things, he's looked at as a leader, and I see myself in a similar role, a smaller obviously role, but to be able to be that OG on tour a little bit, to give those younger players confidence or guidance or whatever it may be, I see as a role that we share, and I'm looking forward to participating in the future.
I love it. Just elevating what it is to be kind of a pro disc golfer, especially like you said, kind of like when you're in what are the elder statesmen per se, just like what does that look like?
Yeah,
I, I
turning
I I love it.
turning
Um,
38 in a month.
38 in a month.
38 in a month. How old are you?
35 it has turned in January. So
It's,
in a bygone era, we'd both be battling in Masters, okay?
yeah,
Right now.
that's one of the things that I hope to kind of flip the script on a little bit too. I really don't think it's beneficial to our sport for somebody who turns 39 to disappear from the limelight,
Ooh.
like we've seen in the past. It's definitely a disc golf thing. Um, the Kales and the Paul Omens, like they saw the Feldbergs and the Klymos move on almost immediately when they turned 40 and start grabbing those world titles and start trying
Mm-hmm.
to get those wins in the Masters division, which I don't
Mm-hmm.
think does disc golf any favor. I think these people need to
Interesting.
stay hustling. I know it's hard.
Stay finishing 28th every week and not making any money.
Well, we're gonna miss out on Phil Mickelson winning a major at 52, or Tom Watson nearly winning a major at 59. We're not gonna have any of these super fun stories that golf has, and that bring people
Yeah.
into the game and keep people there.
Yeah,
Forty.
so I will say I disagree with you.
Okay.
Largely, and I'm gonna say the biggest difference I would say is like just the physicality in playing a disc golf round, given the landscape that we're playing on, is just different, right? So like just it's also just straight up like the money involved. It's easier to get yourself feeling right when you're a millionaire at 52.
Yeah.
Hard to get yourself feeling right when you just drove 12 hours to the next event and you're stiff. You know what I mean? I'm sure you are becoming abundantly aware of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Those are
I,
valid.
I mean, Again, I think if there was a ton more money involved, then you'd see a lot of these guys hanging out, scoring 18th place, cashing out $200,000 and being good to go. But like when 21st place pays, $260, I don't know.
Yeah, those are valid points that you brought up as well. Golf does have way more money to keep their people in shape. Our sport has so much to do with putting. Is my argument. I don't lose tournaments because I don't throw it 600 feet. I lose tournaments because I'm loose on my upshots and I miss putts. This game isn't that hard to play into your 40s and 50s. I think you just have
It's
to have the
yes.
confidence to hit those putts.
Okay. Yes, but I will push back again. Now this is beautiful. I love having this because if you look at the like you go to the you whatever it was UDisc in the past, whatever it is, like the fairway hits, all those you're looking at the stats. If you sort by fairway hit or greens in regulation, it's like number one player, number two player, number three player, number four player, number five, like in a list. And then if you look at putting percentage, it's a random allotment. 64th ranked player, 120th ranked player, Yuli. Like it isn't. It's no correlation between the best players.
Hmm.
I think, truthfully, in disc golf, the more opportunities you get on the green, the better you're going to score.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's worth looking into. Granted, I know Yuli is one of the only people that does his own stats, so like his putting percentage is probably going to be a little higher than other people's. But like, uh, I'd be curious to see a data set that would argue against my thing because
Yeah.
we all know the Pro Tour stats are a little weird because it's all volunteers. But like, I personally think you drive for dough in disc golf. You throw for dough.
Aaron Gossage should win every event then, and Jake Ebenheimer should be top 10 at every event then. Those
I
are
mean,
two of the top four throwers in the game, in my opinion. Forehand, backhand,
absolutely.
complete.
Absolutely. I mean, there is a bar for how well you have to putt. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I'm not saying like an 80% putter is
Yeah.
going to score really well, right? But like, all of the top 20 guys are really really elite level putters. Like that's just you just kind of have to be like to compete at this level. You just have to be a 90% putter
Yeah.
bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I love Heebs, but it's he's much much worse at putting
Yeah.
than the other player than he is better than other players at throwing.
Totally.
um it
I
just
see.
is what it is. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
um
No, those are
but I
valid
hear you, honestly. It's like,
arguments.
yeah, but like it's really easy to, when you mentally think back on these things, to it's like you miss a putt and it's such a one or a zero, right? It's like if you throw to 40 feet versus 20 feet, it doesn't feel, it's like, oh, I still had a putt.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how to wrap that argument up, but I enjoy having these conversations with you, Louis.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. I just want to see. I want to see Kale out here. I want to see Johnny
But
McRae.
we've been seeing Kale out here for the last 5 years, and I love Kale, but he's not in the mix to win many of these events. And it's only getting worse. It's not like at 45 he's gonna find, with a kid, he's gonna find a new
Yeah.
pocket of 1050 in him. You know what I mean?
He shot 8 under final round in Florida. He didn't do that the
Very
first two
true.
rounds, obviously, but the skill level
Yeah.
that he's got is good
Oh,
enough to win. He
100%. He almost won Waco. I mean, I guess it's been some years now, but he has been in the mix to win many tour events
yeah,
recently.
yeah.
Like, no denying that.
And I think our courses are so different from each other that horses for courses is a thing in disc golf.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it's not every week that a guy like Kale is going to be able to like truly succeed. Like Glenn DeVere is not going to be a spot where he shreds.
Yeah.
OTB is not going to be a spot where he shreds. But at the same time, we saw Emerson Keith win OTB, and it was his putting performance that did it.
Yep.
He's not throwing it as far as Aaron, or Gannon, or Calvin, or Ezra, or the people that you'd think would succeed at that course.
Yeah. It's
You're
true.
right. I'll need to rethink my stance. You're right.
All I'm saying is just do yourself a favor, spend 10 minutes when you get a chance and look at the stats and at least sort by each stat category and just look at who's in the top of each of the stats. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
C1, C2 in regulation, it's the top 20 in basically the order that they finish in. You know,
Interesting. Yeah,
some slight flips here and there, but
I'll check it out. You got me. You got me wanting to check it out.
okay, couple more quick hitters, real quick. We're at Waco, not a big power course, not a big bomber course. Who takes it this weekend?
I think I got a shot. I heard
Okay.
Angie. I heard Angie from the other room say you. Um, I also
You
think,
got to have that confidence.
yeah, you really do. It's not me versus the field; it's me versus that course, and what I can do on that course. I know what I'm capable of. So
Mm-hmm.
anybody who's got that mindset, I think a guy like Corey Ellis could do really well out here as well. Somebody
Mm,
who throws that backhand putter extremely well. It's
yeah.
going to come down to, like you said, those like approach style forehands or those putter throws. And whoever's got that most dialed this week is going to do really well. Gannon played incredible here last year, played really well. And, people like Conrad, Germ, Macbeth, they've all had success in the past. So I think those names have to be in the mix as well.
Yeah, I mean, do whatever needs to happen. I need more James Conrad at the top of the field. Like
Yeah.
I need that back in my life. Really, I'm
Yeah,
not on tour these days. I don't get to hang out with them anymore. Like we need some beard. The long man needs to be on camera again.
I agree, man.
Um, go ahead.
I played with him yesterday. He was playing phenomenal. I think his chances this week are great.
Oh, okay, beautiful. I'm holding you to that. Robinson brothers. It's the year of the Robinson. Uh, I mean, now Ezra's up 1-0. Who ends the year with more wins?
I don't even know if I should say. I those are two of my buddies right there, and I know that this is probably going to be clipped. I mean, Ez is one up. I guess I got to go with Ez, but it's hard not to go with a double champ. Back to back world champion, the guy that plays his best in the biggest moments. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible to see what Isaac's capable of doing. But at the same time, Ezra, I think he's a little more aggressive. He's a little more powerful. He plays the game a little more aggressively, like those
Mm-hmm.
putts that he goes for, and
Just madness.
it's madness. The putt that he
Yeah.
made to force a playoff with Germ in
Oh,
New Zealand.
sickening. In the wind?
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm getting the goosies thinking about it. It was one of
Me
the.
too, literally. It was unbelievable.
I,
I mean,
I watched what was
yeah,
going to happen. I walked over there and stood right behind him. He threw grass
really.
left, threw grass right, and then just like punched the ground, picked up a fistful of it, and then just opened it up, and it went every which way. I had a putt from 10 feet closer, and my putter hyzer flipped like 20 minutes before that. The thought of him making that putt is mind blowing. It was a great catch by that RPM Helix basket, too. I think that left side high doesn't stick all the time. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that guy, his will to win, never been as good. So I'm going to
I mean,
say,
also he looks good. Like, maybe I missed something. Like, I haven't been at all these events for the last year, but like, I mean, he looks shredded. Like, he looks in great shape, physically fit.
yeah,
He's lost some lbs.
yep,
You know,
yeah. Now he
he looks
looks
motivated.
insane right now, and it's the work
Yeah.
ethic that's producing all of this. I spent a month with him in New Zealand. He got up
Mm-hmm.
early, he trained, he putted, he played, he putted, he trained. I mean, he did the whole entire time he was working. And I don't know what he's got in his headphones all the time, but he's got those headphones in constantly. I don't know if it's podcasts or motivational speaking or what it is, but whatever it is, it's working. And I hope he continues.
No, me too. Honestly, like it's something that I feel pretty strongly about. Is like in a post Paul Ricky era, we're kind of, we're missing some like real deal star power. Some like adult in the room, professional. Let's go, boys! Come and beat me. I'm gonna bring it. And I'm hoping that Ezra and some of these people who are ready to take that next step in their career will bring that like fierce competitive energy rather than maybe some of the memey, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
laugh it
yeah.
up
I like that.
energy. I don't know.
Adults in the room. I like how you said that.
We need a couple of those, man. I mean, like we're in an era where we've got a lot of young up and comers,
Yeah.
but where's our next Paul Rick? You know what I mean? Like the dog fights. Where are these like 42-year-old local chuckleheads going to be rooting for? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. It's a good
Um,
question. Exciting,
but
but
anyway, oh
yeah.
yeah. Luke, thank you so much for your time. You're in an RV in an RV park, battling the internet. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the beach towel behind you even more, frankly. But I wanted to give you a chance. How can the people support you? Where do they follow you? You got a signature release coming out. How do the people support Mr. Luke Humphries?
Yeah. Speaking of signature releases, that's dropping this week. My disc is the D3. These things are as swirly as possible. I know you love the D3. They
My
also,
favorite disc in my bag right now is actually Old Will Shoestrike D3. So
we're gonna have to get
I
you one of
need
these. Yeah,
I needs me one. Yeah.
yeah. It's the artwork's amazing. Lane's killing the artwork on those things. The
Hmm.
swirls are great. It's a bomber right out of the bag too. You put this
Perfect. Love
thing,
that.
yeah, straight in the bag. It's going
Like
full.
flip sidearm, would it play well for that shot?
Yes, yes, it does.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yesterday, the first throw of my day was on hole 15. I guess it's the one they took out last year, and it
Yeah.
just flipped up
Yeah.
perfect right down the road. Yeah, the one Perkins and James both lost to
Yep.
our boy Big Germ on. But yeah, support me through that. ProdigyDisc.com is a great way to get those. LukeHumphries.com has been down for a little while since Tree Love exited the disc
Mm.
golf scene, and I'm moving all that
Hmm.
stuff over to OTB East. So I've got
Perfect.
350 hats in 12 different colorways dropping within the month. Those are being embroidered right now. I appreciate everybody that picks one of those up.
Hmm.
Obviously, GoThrow.com. Come out and see us and support that tour. That would be great as well.
I can't wait to follow along all year, Luke. Really appreciate you coming on, taking the time. I know it's a ton of work, mud, sweat, a lot of miles on the truck, but check out Go Throw Tour all year long. And for you at home, if you would like round coverage, interviews, and maybe some other content, if you let me know what you want, please subscribe to Central Coast Disc Golf, my new home, my old home, my forever home.
Yeah. Dude, Corey, you've been killing it for a long time, man. Big shout out to Corey Muro, one of the OG hustlers in the game. Appreciate you having me on, brother.
Dude, thank you so much. You're the king. Talk later.
We'll see you next time.